Okay, well, I restore classic cars, and I was working on a Bronco, and I needed a transfer case, so I bought a transfer case from Marketplace. This transfer case weighs, I don't know, 300 or 400 pounds, but it's smaller than this chair, so me and the guy I bought it from was like nose to nose. I was carrying it backwards. And he didn't tell me that there was a 6-inch thick slab of concrete laying on top of his grass. Dark, winter time. So I'm walking backwards and I trip backwards over this. And I pull the transfer case right out of his hands. And I land on the concrete with this transfer case in my midsection. The guy's like freaking out. I forgot to tell you about that chunk of concrete. I can't believe I forgot. And I rolled over and I remember grabbing my back, and my back hurt. And he goes, how's your arm? How's your arm? It's like, my arm's fine. What about my back? He goes, no, your arm. I guess the way my arm was wrapped up in the transfer case, it was abnormal. Following Monday, I think, is when I ended up going to the doctor. And my elbow was broke. And then the trauma to the elbow made the tendon, my bicep tendon, pull out of my forearm and slingshot my bicep up in my shoulder. And then I had to have back surgery. Had to have a cage put in over a disc. And in the MRI, they showed, you could see the nerves, they're like little rivers. The right side was white, the left side was black. And they said it's completely pinched off. And if we don't get it unpinched soon, so it can repair itself, you're going to lose feeling in that left leg. And then I was afraid I wouldn't be able to drive my truck no more, because I wouldn't be able to feel the pedals. I think it was she was her idea. She goes, why don't we go talk to somebody, because you're going to be off work for an excessive amount of time. And we went and we take care of a buddy of mine that's, he's blind, legally blind, and so we go up and we take care of him, check on him and stuff, and he's the one that mentioned this other lawyer in Monmouth. He said he didn't really see a definite case, and he didn't have the funds to put aside to pursue the case, because it was going to take so many years. It was going to take years, he said, before we could ever even think about a settlement. So it was just took all the wind out of my sails, you know. And then on the way home from Monmouth back to Pekin, she's like, well, don't give up yet. So she's on the internet in the car, and she came across Jim's name, and I'm glad we did. Jim took care of it. And it happened so fast. I mean, within, I know it wasn't no year, it was like 6 months, it was done. After I met with the first attorney, and he said, you know, that I had a case, but he didn't want to take it because it was going to take too long. When I actually talked to Jim, and he reassured me that I did have a case, and it was as long as they had homeowners insurance, it was done. And when Jim first told me about it, you know, I had all the wind out of my sails. I didn't think anything would come of it. And then then Jim kept calling me and stayed in contact all the time. The more Jim talked to me, the more I realized, you know, maybe, you know, I started getting a little bit of holdback. But and he had it done so fast, I still can't believe how fast everything was done.
When I met Jim, he came to my office where I worked. I introduced myself, and he stayed and talked to me for 45 minutes to an hour. Just reassured me of everything. Then talked through a lot of the personal side things that I had in the back of my head when this all happens for him. And he kept me in the loop every step of the way. And I worked with his staff one-on-one. I'd come up here to the office to help him go through everything. And his staff is amazing.
anybody that I know or don't know comes up to me and you know, has got an injury, Jim's the first thing that pops into my head. That he's the best one, hand down, that I've ever been a pleasure to know. If it's the last thing you do, contact Jim.